All right, guys, welcome to On Chain with Tatum series that puts a spotlight on creators, founders, and teams building the next era of Web3. We sit down with partners and customers to talk about products, problems, breakthroughs, and stories that connect the entire ecosystem. It's relaxed, it's real, and it's all on chain. Today, Ted and I are on chain with Zengo. I'm joined by Tal, Meni, and Ari. I would love to hear from you guys more about your roles at Zengo and what you guys are building. Maybe we'll start with Tal.
Hi, Skelly. It's great to be here. So I'm Tal Berry, and I'm the CTO and co-founder for Zengo.
Awesome. We'll go into Ari next, or Meni.
Go ahead, Manny.
All right. So my name is Manny. I'm VP Engineering in Zengo.
And hello, everyone. My name is Ari, and I work on the marketing team at Zengo.
Awesome. And who wants to share a little bit about what you guys do and what you're building?
So maybe I'll start because I'm the oldest and been in the company ever since. So for the last 8 years, we're building the most secure yet usable retail wallet, and lately also business wallet, the best crypto wallet that also protects your funds against all kind of mishaps, including theft, but also the loss of your seed phrase.
Very, very cool. I know you guys have been doing a lot on the B2C and on the B2B sides. We're excited to learn more about what's going on internally and then kind of what's to come in the roadmap as well, right? So tell me a little bit about the origin, right? How did everything get started with Zengo? What was the experience of moving into the B2C, now coming into B2B? Would love to hear more about how it all started.
Okay, so this is really interesting, and this is I think the podcast also talks not just about crypto but about entrepreneurs. So I would highly recommend that you team up as a founder with different people, like not a replica of yourself. So for me, when I started and before Zengo, I didn't see much of the problem because I was using some console-based Linux wallet, and it was very easy. You just type a few things, and you do this and you do that, and so it was very easy. And in a way, our CEO and my co-founder Riel opened up my eyes and say, "Look, maybe it's good for you, but like if crypto is going to be the revolution and billions will need to take part in it, like there's no way they're going to use to type in all kind of weird commands. Like they need something intuitive, something easy, something even my quote unquote grandma can understand." And this really opened up my eyes, and we saw together how we can do a simple wallet but without compromising on the security, because it's easy to get one of it, to get a secure wallet relatively, or to get a usable wallet, but to get both of them right at the same time is very hard mission, and this is Zengo's mission, really.
That's incredible. And I know Zengo is extremely secure, and with all wallet providers out there right now, what would you say is kind of like that aha moment of when you saw the real problem and opportunity to solve for, right? What made you guys so focused on security when you were deciding to really let's lead with a new wallet and introduce this into the market?
So I think like security is well built into the ethos of cryptocurrency. Like anyone coming to crypto is really worried about its security, but they're not necessarily concerned about the right type of security, because everyone thinks Hollywood style, how hackers gonna hack my money, while
Yeah.
the real more mundane, let's say, or less glamorous issue is really your ability as a user to keep your private key safe, so to speak. And most people are worried about people taking away and stealing the private key? Well, actually, what happened most of the time, the key gets lost because your laptop breaks down, you lost your mobile phone, something break, fell into the water, and so on and so forth. And really, the aha moment for Zengo users, it's kind of also our challenge is only once you lost Zengo for one time, and then you very easily regain access to your wallet with our backup system and so on. And it's just like magic. And then people say, okay, now I understand, really understand Zengo, and I become Zengo user for life. But this is kind of our challenge is to make people aware of it right off the bat, because once you lost and regained access with Zengo, it's easy to understand. Our challenge is to make people, once they start using Zengo, to understand that. And so we have a lot of users who are like Zengo is not their first wallet. They tried something else, disappointed, and switched to Zengo. And we want to use that opportunity, even here, to tell people you don't need really, to learn it in the hard way. You can just start with Zengo and, do it the easy way, right off the bat.
That's awesome. And definitely a need in the space, right? Because I think security is key. And it's kind of like us in the RPC node business too, right? Nobody really cares until it's not up and running and they're not on tip anymore, right? And then they're like, well, now we have a problem. So it's good to see that that's also the case with security for Zengo as well. And I'm assuming a lot of people, once they switch over, I mean, why would they go anywhere else, right? Because they're already secure and it's working well. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about kind of, it sounds like you build this, you're really focused on security. I'd love to hear more about, why it matters so much. Why did you guys kind of move from what you're doing today with the consumer market into more of this business market? Why does it matter so much for businesses to also consider Zengo today?
Let me start by putting you on the spot, Skelly, if that's okay. I want to ask you a question. I want you to take a guess, and Ted, feel free to participate too. In the last 10 years, I'd like the both of you to guess how much Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone has been lost or stolen because of seed phrase vulnerability issues. Just guess. In
I
dollar
would
terms.
say
$1 million
dollar.
Bitcoin.
Somewhere around there, if not more, I would say.
So the estimations vary, but it's actually more than 1 million Bitcoin. Today, it's worth about $250 billion with a B. Right, that's $250 billion. And this is a Bitcoin at about $100,000, right? This isn't Bitcoin at $1 million or above. So the thesis that we established a number of years ago, and it's clearly playing out, is that both consumers, retail, and companies that want to self-custody, and there's a lot of reasons to have self-custody and to make sure that you can control your keys, they need a better way to do it. Seed phrases doesn't work. Seed phrases don't work. And it doesn't matter if it's on a hardware wallet or if it's a software wallet. A seed phrase or a single private key is a single point of failure, and people can make mistakes. I'd now like you to guess, since Zengo started now over 5 years ago, how many Zengo wallets have ever been hacked or had their assets stolen?
0.
0. I know I'm the marketing guy, and so it's a marketing tactic, but it also happens to be true. So we can talk about this. And now I'll kind of transition to, you asked about retail. We discovered over the last few years that we have many retail users using Zengo Retail for business needs, simply because they really understood, they grokked the differentiated security model that Zengo provides, but also, like Tal said, how much easier it is to use than all of these other contraptions. So you have both the beautiful and elegant UX, and you have the security bona fide. So in the last year or so, in the last few quarters, we've been working really hard developing now the not just the retail, but the business solution, because we already have people using Zengo for business needs. And now there's a product that can actually provide that with additional features that we know businesses actually use.
That's incredible. I mean, 0, I was expecting, something a little bit higher than that, but 0
Yeah.
is absolutely incredible. What a statement to the business and what you do. And starting with security in mind, I think says a lot, right? For you guys as well. So that's incredible. Ted, I know you had a question in mind as well. I'll hand it over to you.
I had a few actually, but before maybe just a comment. We often hear in the space people saying, "Not your keys, not your crypto," and this is kind of a big statement. So how do you go about it, and how do you explain people that actually maybe there are better ways?
Sure. Maybe I'll start, and then Tal, feel free to jump in if you'd like to go a little bit deeper. So MPC is a different type of cryptography than the typical single-factor hardware wallet or software wallet that you might have on your phone. MPC stands for multi-party computation, and the idea is multiple parties compute. The result of that computation is indistinguishable from a signature from a traditional private key-based wallet. But the thing is, with multiple parties, you don't have a single point of failure, right? By making more than one thing come together in order to sign a transaction, you make it orders of magnitude harder for attacker to target and to steal, right? The facts speak for themselves, at least for Zengo, right? Zero hacks since the company was founded. So the way that Zengo works at a very basic level is it's a 2 of 2 system. There are two, we call them shares, that need to work together to compute. The result of that computation is what approves the transaction or moves the funds on chain. The way that Zengo has constructed this is the user has their personal share that's locked to their mobile device. And then the remote Zengo server has the remote share. The two are locked, they're linked, they're cryptographically secured. So anyone trying to attack one of them or the other, and both of which are secured in very different ways that I'm sure Tal won't talk about too much, ensures that it's just much more difficult to get to. I know that was a very basic level. Feel free, Tal, to correct me if I missed anything.
I think you done well. I think under the limitation of this format of podcast, like this is really, I think, top level. But I encourage people, like we have a section in our website with the white papers. So if you want to get deeper into it and be a little bit more scientific about it, then go ahead. We have a rich library of white papers and blog posts and so on and so forth. And we encourage you to find it. It's zengo.com/security. You get to all the material from there.
Awesome. And
MPC
we can share
is-
the link as well. Right, Ted? So that they can access it later on.
Yeah, I was saying MPC is still known for some people if you really maybe not deep into security, but still interesting in it, I would say, if you've done your research, as we say, if you do before. Something that is maybe more popular is multisig. This is what most people have heard of. Could you explain what are the differences?
So just to add one more remark is that like you can see that MPC is the weapon of choice for institutional grade like banks are usually utilizing, like the biggest company in this area is Fireblocks, good friend of ours, also based in the, within 1 kilometer distance from our headquarters. And definitely they set the benchmark for security. That's what banks are using. And without going into all the pros and cons, they choose MPC to power their solution. And the biggest bank in the world choose Fireblocks as a solution for their self custody. So I think this speaks volumes about why choose MPC. And back to the original questions, the differences between MPC and multisig. So MPC is really multisig, but while multisig is originally a Bitcoin concept, this is multisig is in the level of the application. So Bitcoin has its multisig solution, Ethereum has its multisig solution realized as smart contract, and so on and so forth. So for every chain, there is another way to implement it, provided that they have, because usually it's quite an advanced feature. So many chains, when they are introduced, they don't have this feature. And as a wallet provider, and consequently as a wallet user, that means that the wallet has to re-implement every time that very delicate mechanism of multi-sig. There were famous problems in Ethereum. I think it was the parity smart contract that locked people in their multi-sig solution. So the fact that you heard about the Lindy effect, right? Like the longer you've been using it, it's more likely to last. So if you re-implement multi-sig each and every time, you don't enjoy that effect. Like so with MPC, this is the same solution across all chains, and which gives you the reliability of engine hours. Like this was tested by millions of users for over years, and it worked. So you don't need to retrust it every time you add new blockchain.
I'll add to that two points. The first is, like Tal said, with multisig, if you have to set it up with every chain, that is kind of a nightmare. It's a user experience nightmare. It's confusing, and so people won't do it. Maybe some businesses will, but even many operators using crypto now are not crypto native necessarily. They don't understand all of the custody risks, all of the security risks that they have to take into consideration. They just need a simple solution that works as expected, that works beautifully, and that is secure by default. And the benefit of of MPC as opposed to multisig is you can just put anything into that MPC wallet and it's supported, right? Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, many others. The second thing that I would say is with multisig, a lot more happens on chain. And there are benefits to do more on chain versus off chain. But when you've created your security configuration on chain, and it's clear to the world what wallets are required to approve specific transactions, that's a target for attackers. That's a target for hackers. And we've seen that play out already at the business level with some of the biggest crypto institutions in the world, where it was clear that there was a multi-sig wallet to approve a certain thing. And that's the vector that was targeted in order to drain significant sums of funds. And with MPC, a lot of that can be abstracted and hidden. It's not on chain, which in this case is actually a really big security benefit.
That's incredible. Yeah, and it's good to see. I mean, I think that it's like you said. I mean, some things must be on chain, but not everything needs to be necessarily on chain continuously as well, right? So I think that does make a lot of sense. And it's intriguing the way that you guys have thought about all of this ahead of time. I'm assuming that along the way, there might have been some pain points or hurdles that you guys had, right, to get here, to get to this point, to be able to say, now we have this wallet, we have this MPC technology, we're proud of it, it works really well. We know we're going to be at this, zero attack, and be confident about that, right? So I'd love to hear maybe from you, Manny, as well, of some of the things on the engineering side that you might have experienced along the way.
Yeah. So actually, I would like to tell you a little bit a small anecdote about integrating Tatum within Zengo. So it's kind of related to our story back then, where there weren't any SaaS RPC blockchain as a service solution. Back then, a few years ago, we actually hosted Bitcoin nodes and Doge nodes ourselves. We had the resources, we had the people in it, we had to maintain the code, to upgrade the code, and it was very difficult for us. But we did it. There wasn't any other solution, and we had to take it ourselves, especially Bitcoin, the main and still the most popular asset. I remember it was like a national holiday here for us. It was on November 2022, right? Like exactly 3 years ago. Where in our national holiday, our nodes got crashed. It was probably it was a very famous transaction with a large message that actually some people say that it was intentional. to make some Bitcoin software to crash, different implementations that got crashed, and we were not celebrating. We were just working to upgrade the code. And that was my personal moment that I said, we need to find a solution. We need to find, a few years passed, and it 2022 for sure there are RPC nodes or blockchains as a service, especially Bitcoin, which was unique for Ethereum, for EVMs. It was much easier to find. But finding a Bitcoin RPC node like Tatum wasn't so popular. So we started investigating, and finding our way. And we found Tatum, and then we started, POCing and integration. And here we are, even 3 years after. And personally, I'm very happy that we chose it. It's not Zengo's business. It's not our business to maintain RPC nodes. We realize that there are businesses that this is their job, basically.
What a story, Manny. And thanks for sharing that as well, because it's good to know that we're able to come and help, specifically on the UTXO side, right? You know that there are a lot of providers out there, but not a lot of them that are really focused on delivering on the UTXO side, which we strive to even be better. I'm excited of what's coming also that we shared with you to just get better and better in supporting companies with that. So that's awesome to hear that we've been there for you. And it's good to see also, I think that as companies scale, they reach this similar conclusion that you did. Right? They start realizing that, we want to start this in-house. This is maybe the route, but that's not the core of what they do as a business. So it's nice to see also the businesses kind of transition and mature and realize, okay, we do need to outsource some things. We need to leave some things up to some other people that do this on the daily, and we can focus on the core of innovating what we are bringing to the market. So that's awesome. That's a good story to hear. And glad that you found us and that we've been able to work for so long together as well. I have another question here, and Ted, I don't mean to. I know you have more questions too, but I'm just going to quickly ask mine, and I'll go right back to you because I know you've reserved some too. I want to just hear from you because what I'm hearing a lot is like you're really proud of the vulnerability side, right? You guys have said zero attacks, and you also have mentioned like what you've done with MPC as well, differentiating and kind of having the right technology in place to be able to get users the reliability that they need and the security that they need. Would you say those are some of the proudest moments for Zengo or what you've delivered in the market? Or is there anything you'd add, what you would say is like the biggest win that you've had at Zengo? What would you say it is?
I'd like to share one, and I'd like to start by first saying what we did wrong from the marketing side for a few years, which is, Tal and his team and Manny and his team had done an incredible job, maybe too good, abstracting all of the amazing security bona fides behind Zengo. And so when I started at Zengo a few years ago, and a number of us on the team, it was like a cute wallet. It was simple, it was secure, but the look and feel, the branding that we had didn't do a good job actually surfacing the truly differentiated security benefits that it offered. And we didn't really understand, even in the marketing team at the beginning, how truly different it was as a product compared to both hardware wallets and software wallets. And so we kind of did an internal analysis review. We basically went to school and we sat with Tal for a number of conversations. I remember he was very patient with us, really going deep into the cryptography and the technology for non-crypto experts like myself, and understanding how this actually works, so we could then surface it and tell this more to our customers, to the rest of the world. That resulted in us shifting a lot of our branding language, the look and feel of the product. But then we had to put our money where our mouth was. We wanted to truly kind of put our efforts to the test. So I would say one of the things I'm most proud of, but was also very scary, was a campaign that we launched at the end of last year called the Zengo Wallet Challenge. This was with Tatum, where we put 10 Bitcoin into a regular Zengo wallet, and a Pudgy Penguin, which at the time was worth about $50,000. So collectively, the wallet was a little over $500,000. And we invited the world to hack it. Said, hey, here it is. Here are some recovery hints associated with the wallet itself. You got 2 weeks. ready, Zengo. And it was by far the most successful marketing campaign we ever had. We put very little, I think $0 behind it. It was fully organic. We had millions of hits. We had many dozens of actual hacking attempts, some of which were obvious, some of which were less obvious. I was, of course, as a marketeer, a little nervous because, like, ultimately, if it is successful, then how do you spin that? But I knew, like, after of course, working with Manny and his team and Tal, that we should feel confident in going through it, and by doing that, we were able to truly put our money where our mouth was. No crypto wallet has ever done that before, right? The money was on chain. This wasn't like a promised bounty. Like, the money was there. You could go to mempool, you could see it, like mempool.space or another blockchain scanner. So I would say those were two very stressful weeks, for me at least, but it was a very successful campaign event, and I know that a lot of Zengo users also appreciated kind of following along and participating.
Also,
I love
Bitcoin
that.
went up 10% during this time, so we got
Did it really?
yeah. But
Wow.
then it went up 100%, like it. So we should have just kept it, never sell, hodl.
Hold them as long as you can, especially if it's a
Yeah.
Bitcoin. I sold mine tall, so I know the feeling. It hurts. Oh, but that's awesome. I actually remember this campaign, and I remember our team being like, did they make it? Did somebody hack? Did something happen? And it was successful. It was awesome. That's the kind of, I think, true marketing that I like to see. And like you said, putting your mouth, like where your statements are, and like really delivering on what you're saying is key. And you're right. I actually haven't seen another wallet provider do this. Now that I'm thinking of it, good job, Ari. It's a good one. I love
I
it.
mean, I stand on the shoulders of these guys.
They know what they're doing, and now you can trust, right? After
Yeah.
that, the 2 weeks as well. Awesome. That's great. Ted, I'm going to hand it over to you too, because I've taken too much of the questions. So I'm going to let you
No
ask them.
worries. It's actually the story around me, another story from another project as well. We also worked on some marketing campaigns with wallets, and we were sharing one word from the seed phrase every week, sharing some clues. And the story didn't go too well at the end because after 8 or 9 words, I don't remember exactly, but some members found the whole seed, they brute force it. So
Oh,
yeah,
no.
8 or 9 words was enough to find it. So no
There you go.
cliffhanger at the end.
So actually, I want to add to this, and this is during my like long discovery and understanding of how Zengo is different and differentiated. So this was another thing for me, and we have a great blog post about it, about how truly random something can be, because we found that random number generators, which are essentially behind the traditional seed phrase based wallet, don't always make something random enough, and then you can brute force and you can guess easier and faster than you would expect. And the beautiful thing behind Zengo's 2 of 2 MPC is you have two separate secret shares that both are randomized. So even if one of the randomization systems doesn't work, you still have the other one as a backup. So you never have to rely on just one point of failure, not just for the recovery or making sure when you're signing, but even for the key generation process at the beginning, you know that you are more random than something that only has one factor.
So just to add to it, like there is kind of conflicting eaters within the currency community. Like one said, everything should be distributed. Nothing should be centralized. And then there's the other thing is not your keys, not your crypto. And when you actually saying, like I'm not trusting anyone, I'm trusting only myself. So everything is centralized on me, and we know we're not going to last forever, right? Like even like if we do everything all right, like we have life expectancy, you are young, but I already have gray hair, I know it's not gonna last forever. So like although like naively, like you would say, not your kids, not your crypto, I trust only myself, trusting just yourself, I think it's the best security decision. And as we had shown, even you cannot just trust yourself because you trust your random number generator, you trust all kind of things, like you think in some hardware wallet, I don't need to trust it, but you also need to trust it to work perfectly. And as we saw, like it also has firmware updates and so on and so forth. So you're trusting every programmer there and so on. So you cannot really just trust yourself. So, it's not going to work. So it's better to be aware of it and deliberately decentralize that trust explicitly, and not just convince yourself you're just trusting yourself. And one of the ways, like if you do like this distributed key management, for example, one benefit out of it is also the decentralized randomization. This is just one thing you get out of it. And as we already mentioned, like the fact we're all gonna die someday, unless Elon Musk finds a way before to come ever. But to combat that, you need to securely move your private key to someone else. And using MPC, we were able to create such solutions called legacy transfer that really helps you automatically transfer your keys in a way that is in a secure manner, because it's not just just to give the idea behind it, is because you have a part of the key and we have sort of a part of the key, or we already have it, so you can give another version of, let's say, your half to someone else, but they cannot use it right now. They need to do something, and you delegate some trust to Zengo, but in any case you need to delegate to someone. So you're better off if you do it explicitly with someone that have good safeguards and enjoy the Lindy effect of being of lasting almost a decade right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tal. And I think it goes even beyond, like, I know we're all going to die, but other things could happen too, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, so you got to think of all the risks that are in your everyday life, and you don't
And
know
I thought I
tomorrow.
was morbid. So he said, you're gonna die, but it's not the worst thing. Worst thing can happen.
I mean, things happen. That's the point. The point is things happen, and you know what's going to happen. So
For sure,
it's nice
you're
to
right.
have that trust, and that you guys have that ability, right, to even offer that as an opportunity for people to trust Zengo as well. That's awesome.
To come back on one thing Manny said earlier, in something that happened in November 2022, right? That was fun time bear market, I think, or difficult time, at least for prices, maybe not for team buildings or infra, but yeah, different time. And I think the space has exploded, maybe in terms of toolings and infra and adoption in general. Not prices yet, but maybe in the months to come. Let's see. But yeah, we also see every day. And I mean, our product team is shipping blockchains almost every week now. So for sure, lots of chains, lots of L2s launching. And I feel sometimes it's hard for people to kind of know what's good, what's bad. I mean, so many things launching now, and everyone claim they are the fastest, the cheapest, and so on. And I feel maybe it's a bit the same with the wallets as well. And there are so many. I'm sure you're aware of it. So, what would you say set Zengo apart from the rest and all the noise out there?
Yeah. So first of all, as Arian Tal mentioned earlier, we have the security mindset. It means whatever we build, whatever we think of, every feature, we think of the security. And we already agreed we are an MPC wallet, and we leverage the MPC technology to provide more security features to the customers. One of them, what Tal just mentioned, the legacy transfer. If you think of it, if you don't have MPC, you don't have any ability to implement it securely. We also have a cool feature called theft protection. Sorry. which actually lets you pass through some kind of multi-factor authentication before you transfer your funds. And if you think of it, think about seed phrase based wallet, right? You have your seed phrase, and you use a wallet. But if you don't like the UX of the wallet, if you don't like the features, right, the wallet asks you for multi-factor authentication. I don't want to pass through this MFA, right? I will just take the seed phrase, I will load it in another wallet, and I just skipped this feature. So this is not a real security, right? A real security is where you take the MPC technology and you just leverage it into enabling features such as the legacy transfer, the theft protection. And another aspect of the security was our work on Web3. Back then, again, it reminds me the story, that we implemented Bitcoin nodes ourselves, and then we took another solution, right? We implemented Web3 firewall for ourselves, right? We even have a patent on this Web3 firewall, as well as for the legacy transfer. We actually were one of the first to take a look at the infinite approvals that customers, when they need to approve tokens, the allowance for other smart contracts to use the funds. So you just see a large number. No one talks about the security of it. No one knows that you just approved to get access to all of your USDT and all of your Pudgy Penguins NFTs behind the scenes. So this is a cool thing that we built. Of course, today as well, you have businesses around this topic of the Web3.
That's awesome. Well, I'm also curious to know, because I feel like that's a core differentiator. I mean, I had no idea you guys had your own firewall patent. That's pretty cool. That's incredible. So I think it speaks volumes as to the extra mile you guys went. I think it's the better way to put it, right? To be able to really get the right security in place. So that's absolutely incredible. And I think I'd love to hear from you too. I mean, it sounds like it's clear you differentiate from the rest, but you've kind of taken a step further now by launching your new Zengo business, right? So tell me a little bit behind that vision that you guys had. Why move in that direction when you're already differentiated to consumers? What led you there?
So, like I shared, I think before, we discovered in the last year or so that we had a number of businesses using Zengo, usually Zengo Pro, because Zengo Pro has multiple wallet features and its other advanced security features, but they were using it for their businesses. And I think if you look now, in particular, just at the moment, in crypto, in the industry, you see, legislation being passed around the world that's much more inviting, clearer regulatory frameworks to allow for just traditional businesses to start to use crypto rails, right? The stablecoin legislation that has seriously kind of moved everyone forward. This is the time for not just traditional Web3 and crypto businesses to use crypto wallets for business, but for the entire world to start to do that as well. And so I would say so far, it's been really exciting to see those who we've onboarded to Zengo Business, because many are those kind of companies you'd expect, right? The traditional Web3 companies, VCs in the space, DAOs. But the ones that I have more fun talking with are actually those who have never used crypto before. And now they want to start sending stable coins around the world, millions of dollars every month, because it's cheaper, it's faster, it's clearer, it's easier. But they need trusted infrastructure, right? And they're not, these are companies that aren't just going to start working with, a relatively new crypto wallet that hasn't proven themselves. One of the advantages that we knew that we had as Zengo is we've got over 2 million users for over 5 years, right? Many business wallets, crypto business wallets, are only in the hands of a few dozen, maybe 100 or 200 companies. but that's not as tested as millions of people getting access to your product and finding all of the potential issues or bugs or things or corner cases. So by being able to stand on kind of that Lindy that Tal mentioned earlier, and because we were always retail focused, which means that we're very UX UI focused, we want to be easy to use, beautiful to use. It should be an enjoyable experience. It shouldn't feel like you're using software from the 1980s that you have to figure out, right? An entire new language around. Like all of these kind of factors came together to allow us to launch a really amazing business wallet, and from day one have users who are very happy paying customers, already taking advantage of all of those features. So it's been really exciting to see how quickly we've been able to ramp. And like I said, to see the new entrants that we see coming into the space, many of whom are using crypto for the first time, but very quickly becoming super users of these products, because we're at this moment, and then I'll conclude, we're at this moment where between stablecoins, self-custody, MPC wallets, they do simple things that provide real value for real companies that have true needs. And we've hit product market fit as an industry, especially with stablecoins, and it's exciting to be a part of it, honestly, with Zengo Business.
That's exciting. And we've seen a lot of that too. We're actually working with more Web2 companies, what we typically call them, right? Entering the Web3 space. And there's so much learnings that they're having, right? Coming into it and really figuring out, okay, how do I deal with this? How do I implement this securely? What do I have to take into consideration that I'm not taking into consideration? So it's very much consultative approach that we've been doing here at Tatum as well, working with a lot of the big financial services companies that are coming in, some banks, right? We're seeing real estate with RWA and tokenization as well. So it's in a very interesting time, and it's a great time because this is where you want to be here at the very start of this. So it's nice to know that you guys are doing the right things. If somebody let's say a business were to go into the Zengo Business app today and explore it, what are some of the things that they might find on Zengo Business?
Yeah, so some of the business features that we found kind of most interesting and useful, of course, you can send and receive. And the nice thing about a self-custodial wallet is as soon as a business is ready, we do an onboarding call. Folks from our product team, from our support team jump on, help go through the whole process, setting up the wallet, doing a test send transaction, a test receive transaction, etc. But then you're good to go. You don't need to wait like weeks to go through this onboarding process, to go through all of this additional paperwork. So folks can get started very quickly with Zengo Business. I think one of the things in particular that we found to be very useful is our governance features. And again, this is something that many mentioned that only an MPC wallet can do, right? So you can create, as the Zengo Business admin, view-only roles, controller roles, approver roles. You can create multiple roles and give people, depending on their role in your company, access to the wallet in different ways, right? So as a view only, you can't actually initiate a transaction or approve a transaction, but maybe you're on the audit team, right? And your job is to just make sure that things are happening as they're expected to. Maybe you're the approver, but you don't want to spend hours dealing with, okay, who are we paying out this week and double checking everything. You want all that information to be in the system already, and you just go through and approve. Well, that's why we have a controller role. They can initiate all of these transactions, but they can't actually approve them, right? That only can be done by the approver. And the last thing that I'll say there is, you also have a multi-sig style approval process where you can set the limit. So you say, look, anything below $1,000, only one approver is required, but above 1,000, two approvers are required, right? So you can make sure, especially with business funds, you've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in your business wallets. You can ensure that the approvals process is going through as a system that will keep everyone happy, right? Your investors happy, everyone inside of the company, your auditors happy. The last thing that I would say, and this is one of my favorite features, where we start to see everything come together, is an instant IBAN, a virtual IBAN account, where once you go through the process, and you have to go through the KYB process with one of our partners, but it's directly integrated into your Zengo Business wallet, you can send money from your normal bank account, your business bank account, to your Zengo Business IBAN account. The money instantly settles and turns into stablecoins. And it's in your wallet, and you can use it however you want to, send it around the world, convert it to Bitcoin, convert it to any other asset. So it truly allows for that full loop of sending and receiving funds, doing payouts, doing receivables, and bridging very simply between the fiat world and the crypto world.
That's incredible. Wow. That's really exciting. I think super useful as well, just being a Web3 business ourselves, having to deal with some of the nuances.
Yeah, we
I
should
think
talk
that I
about
can
this.
see, yes, I've been telling Melanie. It's definitely something that we want to explore further, because it sounds like you guys are doing some pretty amazing things, and the need is there. The
I
need is
would
definitely there.
I would just add to Ari that it's another example of us, Zengo, that we put the money where our mouth is. We use Zengo business as the Zengo company, right? We pay for the payments that we do for salaries programs that we have for our employees. So we use the Zengo business platform to execute all of this.
I love that. And I think that's really good for Web3 companies to do in general, right? To really promote using wallets and making sure that the employees within the company, it's something I've been trying to drive within our culture at Tatum as well. You guys should be like, we should get paid our bonuses in stable coins. Like, why not? I think that would be a really great thing. And I think eventually some companies will start adopting more of this to really get their team ingrained in the technology and in the space, right? It's not enough to say, I work at a Web3 company. You really have to get a lot more involved to really understand what you're doing and why you're working there as well. So I love that. No, this is great. I can't wait. I mean, we might be consumers soon. Who knows? I'm trying to get it through my team here.
We're
So
waiting.
I will push. I will push. Awesome. So what's coming next for you guys? Tell me a little bit about, so we know what's going on now, where you guys came from, the roadmap to get here. Where are you guys going next? What can we expect to hear from Zengo?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we understand that we build this system not only for crypto native companies, right? We see many other companies that are working with stablecoins or need to make specific payments in crypto, but they don't understand how to work with crypto, and they need to set up a wallet, right? Then they go to the business solution. We have, as I mentioned, the entire transaction lifecycle where you can create it and approve it with different level, different permissions. We have a nice feature of batch upload or batch creation of transactions. Imagine that you need to pay salaries, right? And you want to do it, in a single click, so you can upload a file where you just provide the addresses of the employees or I don't know, periodic payments that you need to make every month. And now imagine that you want to approve or actually sign the transaction within a single click. So this is something that is coming soon from our end. Also, something that is very common for businesses is using address book. So we provide the ability to create contacts for you in the platform. You don't need to remember, of course, or copy paste any addresses. You just have it when you make your payments. And if we think of enterprise solutions, you also provide integrations between systems and also API reference, because there are some businesses that want to contact the system with APIs, right, without opening the UI, and they have some own automation that they maintain, and they want everything to be tied in and connected. So the Zengo Business Platform can play a part in this in this chain, of course. Ari also mentioned the audit trail, another feature that lets you as an admin or as an auditor to understand what do people what are people doing in the platform, what kind of activities, transaction creation, transaction approvals. Of course, we have something very basic today, but we plan to enhance it much more.
Wow, that's really exciting stuff. Oh my God, all key need areas. With the roadmap that you guys are creating, like how are you guys determining the next step that you're taking here? just out of curiosity, are you really working alongside these businesses to really understand the need? I mean, you're a customer yourself, so I'm assuming you just know some of the needs, right? Because you're using your own product. But how are you kind of determining the next steps that you're taking here within this roadmap?
So it's a very good question. So imagine that we just started and we get many requests, and you start to think of something, and then you get another request that could be much more effective to implement. We actually try to implement as much as possible, but it's very helpful that our closest customers are working with the product, and they provide the feedback, and then it makes you it makes you it gives you the ability to enhance the features and provide more improvements to what they're building. For example, our own finance team, when they pay the salaries, for example, so they wanted a batch payment feature where the controller in Zengo can just upload an Excel file and that's it, right? Instead of creating multiple transactions over and over again. So we actually, it's kind of a mix between what we think and our product team think that we need to implement, and the actual customers in the field that are requiring specific features.
Also,
I love
what
that,
is
Vinny.
what
Sorry,
is
go ahead,
very
Tatum.
helpful for us is that we got the company core mentality and DNAs of retail business. So very fast iteration, new version every 2 weeks, so on. So it's very different from your usual, enterprise software that gets updated only once in a quarter and so on. So we're bringing that startup rapid changes mentality also to the B2B world, to not just for consumers, retail consumers, but also for businesses.
Amazing. And I think that's the right approach that should be taken, right? So it's great to see that you guys are doing it. And I just wish we could have our employees use our technology internally as well to give us some feedback, because I think that would be extremely impactful as well. I know that Ted has prepared a little bit of a rapid fire to conclude the session here, and we'll do our closing remarks. So I'm going to head it over to him. Ted, if you want to kind of do our rapid fire real quick as a part of the end of our session.
Let's do it. Short answers. Well, should I say short questions, fast answers? No overthinking from you guys. Who wants to do it?
We'll do it collectively as we do it in Zengo.
Yeah.
Collectively, but distributed.
Yeah.
That's
You,
good.
you will hear distributed answers.
But don't take too long to answer, and that's cheating.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Favorite Web3 tool?
Revoke cash.
Polymarket.
Multisig or MPC?
MPC.
MPC.
That was the trick one. Have you ever lost your seed phrase?
We have no seed
How
phrase.
can you lose something that you don't have?
Not even before Zengo.
Before Zengo, I had some bad experiences. But
Wait, I have a short story. So I have a good friend who uses both Zengo and a traditional software wallet. They got a new phone and they forgot. they I was like, okay, download Zengo, go through the recovery process. It worked perfectly. No issues. They lost their seed phrase wallet because they're, where's the seed phrase? They don't know. They forgot the wallet. They sold it back to the company that they got it from. So yeah, people lose their seed phrases every single day. Sometimes we see it on Twitter or on X. Sometimes you hear about it on Reddit, but I would say 90% of the time, people don't even share those stories.
That's true. They're embarrassed. I wouldn't share it either.
All right.
Back to it.
What's your favorite crypto slang?
Hodl.
Whoa.
I'm going with hodl.
GM.
Efficient. How often do you check your wallet?
Too much, too often.
First thing in the morning? If Zengo had an animal mascot, what would it be?
Oh.
A good one.
No overthinking, we say there.
So we are lions. That's what I can tell you.
I
We
was
are
thinking
lions.
lion too, yeah.
Let's go. Who would you love to collab with?
Elon.
And last one, Bitcoin or Ethereum?
It
Ethereum.
depends. Whenever you ask, right?
Unfortunately, I love Ethereum. It doesn't give me love back, you know. But like
that's
I
why
really
you
think,
go.
like, you know, financially, obviously the smart decision would be Bitcoin, but everything interesting is happening on Ethereum, also derivative of it. And I think like stable coins that really fuels mass adoption is originated on Ethereum and thrives on Ethereum, or whatever EVM, and also a Polymarket, which is like the first solid app that, you know, made the crossover, you know, to the normies world. And I think like I believe that eventually it will also be reflected in price. But even if not, like I think Ethereum is truly exciting. But this is not a financial advice.
That's why you go 50-50, right?
I vote for Bitcoin, but I'm not gonna. I'm not
Makes
gonna
sense.
play with my
I would go with
CTO.
Bitcoin too, even if from our side Ethereum is more interesting, right? More growth, more tools.
Feel like we're the few giving the UTXO some love, guys. So I'm gonna have to say Bitcoin for me too. I mean, Ethereum has been. I put a lot of money into Ethereum because I thought it was gonna blow up, and it went.
Maybe.
Hopefully, because I lost my Bitcoin, so I got to have some hope somewhere. Awesome. Well, I think we just have some closing questions for you. I'll take those on, Ted. The first one here is: I'd love to hear from each of you. If you wanted, or if you could see anybody invited into our podcast next, who would you recommend as the ultimate guest that we must have with us on chain?
I can't think of a guess, but I can think of a topic. I think, you know, going into like stable coins internationally is so interesting right now. And the people I'm talking with doing really cool things with their Zengo wallets on it. I'm sure bringing in some guests to talk about that too would be super cool.
Yeah, I think it's a very hot topic right now in general, right? So I think I'm thinking along the same wavelength, Ari. So if you have recommendations of those people that you're talking to, you let us know. But I think that would be a good topic. Anything else? Any other ideas?
Maybe I think Ton.
Elon?
Elon is good also. I think it will be interesting, but in the crypto world, so Ton, I think it's really interesting because they also have the distribution via the Telegram. So, and in a way, I always thought instant messaging and wallets should converge at some point because, you know, once money becomes digital, it's just another type of information I can pass from myself to Ari. So, like, if we're talking over, let's say, WhatsApp or Telegram or Signal or something like that, why should we move to another application to send money? Like, it should be tied together. So I think in that regard, Tone really have a nice vision around it, and also has the potential of really bringing a lot of the next, let's say, billion users to crypto. So I would say it would be very interesting to talking to them.
No, I agree. Telegram's popping within and without the Web3 space. So that's definitely an interesting protocol to connect with and hear what they have to say. So hopefully we can get them on here as well. Manny, do you have any recommendations? In essence?
So speaking about Web3, I will give the engineering aspect here. So AWS has Web3 team. So this is another cool topic to talk about, teams that they are working with, to provide different solutions in the Web3. So that would be very interesting.
Awesome. And one last question for you guys, and this is more for everyone that's watching here today. What is the easiest way to start using Zengo today?
I dare you, I would say, just download it from the App Store or Play Store. It's not like this, absolutely no rocket science, but attached to it. But I would say it's also arguably the fastest way to go from zero to crypto, because you just download, input your email. You don't have to write down seed phrase and then start asking yourself, where do I put it, and so on and so forth. And also with our newest integration with new purchase provider, and also very attractive fees. I would say maybe not the lowest, but I think they are the lowest. So, and with very friendly KYC, or even no KYC for small amounts. So we kind of wanted to do a challenge, how fast can you go, just to try people, how many seconds it takes you to go from zero to crypto with Zengo. And I would imagine you can do that in less than 1 minute, really.
Wow.
So I think this is, but even if it takes you 2 minutes, don't be, it's nothing to be ashamed of,
It takes you more than 2 minutes just to think where you should store the seed phrase, right?
No, that's awesome. And I have my own Zengo wallet, and I can say that when I downloaded it, it was very simple to get started as well. So I'd recommend installing it. And definitely it's true. It's a quick way from zero to crypto. And I think that that's where the world is headed. The one thing, I was just at the Blockchain Futures conference here in Fort Lauderdale. And the fun thing that I learned that was the hot topic of the conference was the future is wallets. Soon, wallets will replace our bank accounts. If that's true, I don't know. But if it's true, Zengo will be up there as a replacement to bank
sure.
accounts. Awesome, guys. Well, I wanted to thank you all for your time today, sharing a little bit more about Zengo with us. We love being partners for as long as we have, and plan to show you guys continued value. Maybe we'll be future Zengo business users as well. So we'll be pushing towards that internally. But thank you all for your time and for sharing so much with us. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.